Welcome to the channel. I'm Tony the Technician. Today we're going to be going back into the Amazon tool deals for the week. These are going to be items that are either on sale, tools or items even at their full price or list price I believe to be good deals, or items I find interesting and would like your guys' input on if you guys have used them. I will have each one of these items that we go over today linked down in the description with their own independent link so you guys can easily find them. Then there will be two additional links that take you to a long list of tools that I've went over in the past or other tools that I suggest. So first up, we're looking at the Gearwrench. Specifically, this is the 1/4 inch drive. This is their newer locking flex head ratchets, the 120 XP. And this is something that I myself and many others wanted to see many years ago. Like when I first got the 120 XPs, I really enjoyed them and I still do. But sometimes having a locking flex head is much better than having a semi-locking flex head because it can be, depending on the scenario and situation, how you have the ratchet situated, not having it locked can be kind of sketchy. So they finally released this. I want to say it's coming up on year, maybe 2 years. That might be pushing it. I don't know. They're newer, not brand new, but I really like the design that they went with here. So I'm a fan of the 120 XP, which is a 60 tooth gear and dual pawls, creating 120 positions for a 3-degree arc swing. And for me, my experience, they're extremely smooth, low back drag. I know I've had some people say theirs has a decent amount of back drag. I have 6 or 8 of the 120 XPs and don't have any issues with back drag whatsoever on them. If you do for some reason, you may want to consider warranty. I personally really enjoy them. I get it. It's all personal preference. It's all subjective. But with this new locking design, they've kind of redesigned the ratchet as well. It's still the same gear and pawl setup, but they've kind of redesigned the ratchet a little bit. It's a little bit slimmer profile. I like what they did with the locking mechanism, and we'll get into that right now. This has 4.7 stars at 42 ratings. It's at $30, down from a typical price of $33.46. So like I stated in all of my other videos, when you see a typical price and a discount off that typical price, that's when you're usually getting a pretty dang decent deal. When you see a list price and then a discount off of it, sometimes you're not really getting a deal, and then sometimes you get a decent deal. But when you see typical price and a discount off of that, that's usually the better deals. And I think $30 for this ratchet is plenty fair. I think it's a really good ratchet. So here up closer, they have thinned down the profile of the head. There you can see the teeth for the flex head, the recessed switch, their little Gearwrench logo, the 120 XP. This is the locking mechanism button here. Then they have their orange stripe that they've started doing since they introduced the new orange and black lineup of their tools. And you can see a little lock on there. It's just really nice that it's flush and you can easily push, adjust, and have it locked in position. So really nice to see that. Here you can see it's 2 double stacked 60 tooth pawls. Well, I think it's double stacked with a 60 tooth gear, not pawls. There's not 60 teeth on them. Creating that 3-degree arc swing. 9 positions for the locking flex head. 22% more compact than previous ratchets. So a little bit better access to certain situations in tighter spaces. And that they really don't have a whole lot of information on it. But I think $30 for this one is definitely a fair price. And so I think this is a good deal. Next up is another one where we have a discount off of a typical price of $100 down to $85. So a really good deal here for 3 of the Knipex Cobras. I have a lot of Knipex pliers and I really enjoy them. They're great engineering goes into them, great quality control. I don't think I've had an issue with any of my Knipex pliers and they perform really well. They do a good job on them. This has 4.9 stars at 4,257 ratings. This is the 3-piece set. It comes in this little blow molded case. Now, keep in mind, this is a cheaper blow molded case, more designed specifically just for basically to be displayed. And this is going to be very thin plastic. I have a couple Gearwrench ones that are the same way. And you can use them for a little while in your toolbox, but eventually it's just better to just get rid of them. I like the Knipex Cobras. Great teeth, opposing teeth in the jaws. You get a really good bite on them. I love the locking positions. That's a really nice feature. I like Knipex pliers with the style of grit dipping that they do on the handles. Very comfortable. Great when working with oils and chemicals and stuff. All around just a great brand, and I think this is a great little set. Once again, if you don't know Knipex, they are made in Germany. There you can see that. They're the sizes that you'll get in the kit. And that's really all the information they have on this specific set. Not a whole lot of information, but definitely a fantastic style of pliers and a great company. If you're interested, $85 I think is a great deal. Next up, we were looking at the Olsa Tools Wobble Socket extension set. This is a 9-piece set. It's going to include 1/4 inch, 3/8, and 1/2 inch drive. And this is dual function. So everybody knows about the snap-on Wobble Plus extensions. So you get the Wobble, and then Plus, you can push the socket all the way on, and it's just your standard extension. I've owned many different types of Wobble extensions and Wobble Plus style extensions, and some of them are poorly designed to where this little square drive at the base of the Wobble portion, it's not exaggerated enough. So like very little pressure or very little movement knocks it off of there and it goes into the Wobble, and sometimes that can be annoying, especially when you don't need that slight angle. And then you do just have Wobble extensions out there where there is no square base here for standard use extensions. It's just Wobble, which is fine. But if you're looking for Wobble Plus style extensions, this is one of them that I would consider. This one has a decent exaggerated base for that square drive to hold that socket in the standard straight position instead of getting that angle at all times. So you get 3 of each drive size. In the 1/4 inch, you're going to get 2, 4, and 6 inch. The 3/8 drive, you're going to get 3, 6, and 8 inch. And then 1/2 inch drive, you're going to get 3, 5, and 10 inch. I personally don't use a whole lot for 1/2 inch drive because most of the time I'm using my impact, and I do have impact rated Wobble extensions. But even at this price, I think it's a really good deal for all 3 drive sizes, 3 different lengths for each one. $36.87, not on sale. So if you can catch these on sale, that's even better. But this does have 5 stars at 25 ratings. Here you can see, insert the socket fully onto the extension, and you have your standard extension. Slightly pull it out, and then you get a slight angle. The Wobble end allows the sockets to swivel 6 degrees in any direction. So with Wobble extensions, they're not meant for extreme angles or anything like that. You're just getting a slight angle for those awkward reach or awkward angle situations. Without having to use a universal joint or universal socket. This allows a little bit of angle, which is very handy. The less things you have to connect together, the better. So I think this is a good one. There are multiple other brands out there that do the Wobble Plus style extension and just the Wobble extension, and this is one of them that I would consider for actually having a decent base to hold that socket in the straight position. Next up, we're going to be going into a few of these. These are the 4-in-1 wire service pliers. This is a crimper, stripper, cutter, and gripping pair of pliers. So this one is from Vector. It's the exact same as the Nyko that I own. I originally purchased these, and because I saw the snap-on ones, I used the snap-on pair and absolutely loved them. But I want to say they were around $60, and at that time I was like, nah, I'm not paying that. And when I got online, I found them, and even though I hadn't had great experiences with Nyko or Nico, whatever you want to call them, they had decent reviews. And so I picked them up. They were something like, $16 or something at the time. And while the stripping portion and cutting portion worked great, I could definitely tell that they were not an exact copy of the snap-ons. I'm sure Icon will do that here soon. But they're much thinner as far as width, so you don't have great gripping up at the front. And then the biggest downside is the actual crimping portion up here in the nose. If you look at the square tang or portion that, protrudes or comes out, they gave zero care to how that performs. It has such sharp corners. It's a sharp square. It will destroy those connectors before it does any good. So that was the biggest drawback after I purchased them. You can see the gripping portion up top, the crimping, which I do not use this pair for crimping. The stripping portion works just fine. This one's set up for 12 to 20 gauge. You do have a wire cutter at the base here, and then this wire crimper for the 12 to 20 gauge insulated is fine, but that's not really the ones that I use most often. And I tell you what, that non-insulated one is not great, but there are many sellers selling these, and I think for $12 it's still not a bad deal. It does only have 3.9 stars at 116 ratings, but there are better options out here. So yeah, here's the Nyko set that I actually own. Exact same thing as what we just looked at. And like I said, you'll find it from many different sellers. This one has 4.5 stars at 7,600 or 861, and it's on sale from $17 down to $14.32. But I want to show a couple others that you might want to consider if this is something that you're interested in. And I really like this style of crimper and stripper, and I like to keep a few different styles on hand. I like to keep some where the crimping portion is at the top. I like to keep some where they're at the bottom below the joint or the pivot point, and vice versa, just because depending on whether I'm working in an open area or if I'm working in a tight area, I have to be able to strip wires in tight areas. Then each style can kind of be handy. So one pair really isn't something that you're just going to get by with if you do a lot of different wiring. But I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple different pairs that I think would be a great upgrade from this. The first one that I think would be a little bit better is this OTC 4-in-1 wire stripper, and they may be the same, but from what I can tell, it looks like they've actually put a little bit of extra care into that crimping portion up there. The edges or corners do not look like they were left at a razor sharp edge. They do look rounded, so I think that would perform better, and that's the biggest downside to those pliers that I own from Nyko, is that portion right there, which I guess you could simply fix by filing down. You are going to remove the paint coating on the Nyko pair, where these ones look like more of a black oxide over a paint. But I definitely think this is a slight upgrade to those that we previously looked at. Same features, everything like that, same thickness here. They're not quite as thick as the Snap-on, a little bit cheaper design here, obviously. But OTC usually has pretty decent stuff that I can rely on. This one has 4.7 stars at 412 ratings. Now it is on sale from a list price of $43 basically, which it will never sell at that, and I would never buy it at that, down to $28.50. And that's decent. It's pushing it. I think they should be closer to 20. They do definitely seem to be an improvement over the previous ones that we looked at, but not that much of a difference. But I still think it would be a better purchase if you could find it for around 25. I think that would be a good deal. And then Matco even sells the exact same thing, and it is the square cut. They have double dipped handles. These are made in Taiwan. So no, I don't think the Matco one would be something that you should consider purchasing from. They're $40 normally, on sale for $34.50. At this point, I have a couple other suggestions. Either go with the OTC or check out Napa. The Carlyle ones are way closer to the Snap-on design and a much better quality. This design is much better. So you kind of have this recessed area here where they've brought it down, and this just creates a stronger jaw up here. You have better teeth up front. The same overall design and everything, you know, the stripping portion down here from 12 to 20, it's like above the jaw, they went the extra little bit and put some time into it. You don't have sharp edges, and I definitely think this is the better option. And this one is at $25. It was $37. I would much rather spend $37 than to buy another Nyko one. So at least for this quality of improvement, I think this is definitely another great option. But if you're really interested in a good quality pair of those, Snap-on does have a fantastic set. Now, unfortunately, they are $60, but here you can see how the head design looks closer to the Carlyle or the Carlyle looks more similar to the Snap-on in front of the pivot point than the other ones do. You got a little bit more meat up here. Nice crimping portion. Obviously, all of them are the same design, same features, all of that. And then another plus side is Snap-on being made in the USA. I have a decent amount of Snap-on tools, not a whole lot, but I really do enjoy their pliers with these thicker handles. It just makes the tools much more comfortable. I really enjoy them. Once again, that's personal preference. This item does state that it's back ordered right now, but if you can get them on a tool truck, or if you don't and you just work from home and you don't have access to a tool truck, you can still buy Snap-on tools online. But once again, these are at $60 without a sale. If you do a lot of wiring, then I definitely think they're worth it. But if you just do a medium amount, a decent amount of wiring, I think the Carlyle is definitely the next best option with the best quality for price ratio. And then the OTC, and then last resort being the Nyko and all the other knockoff brands selling the same pair on Amazon. But please, if you guys have used this style, whether it's the Snap-on or Carlyle style or the cheaper version like the OTC Nyko stuff, let me know your guys' experience with them. I figured I'd share a few different ones so you guys can kind of get an idea what would be best depending on how much wiring you do. But this style of pliers, when it comes to wiring, I really enjoy. So that is it as far as this week's Amazon tool deals. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, please make sure to smash that thumbs up. If there are any tool brands specifically that you would like to see in future videos, please drop a comment down below and I'll do my best to find deals on them. And other than that, all of these items are linked down in the description with their own independent link. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.